Welcome back to the channel, guys. Santos here. Now that my voice is feeling a little better, I wanted to take the time to answer a big question I've been getting from the community, which is, what is the best loadout for DMZ, especially if you're grinding Kui Ji, okay? And the answer to that is very simple. This is my favorite loadout right here. I mean, it might be easier to see it in pre-battle. It's the AK-47 gold with a Fennec and the legendary composite vest, the one with two plates, okay, alongside a epic backpack and the large insured slot. All right, so let's break this down as to why this is the best, in my opinion, the best loadout. So when it comes to weapon loadouts, you have different things to consider, right? In this game, you have to actually consider the economy, right? So the most powerful weapons in the game are actually Mythic tier weapons. So for example, I have a Mythic lag that I really love. It's probably my favorite weapon in the game for DMZ because it's so powerful. You can see here it's got a 46 damage at long distance in comparison to, let's see, my AK-47 has got 33 damage. So you can see it hits way harder. The lag hits significantly harder than the 47. But what's the problem? Well, if you need to repair this beast, it's going to cost you $500,000 for every 20% of durability wear down. So for a full 100% repair on the Mythic weapon, you're going to be shelling out 2.5 million. Okay, and that's pretty much every 5 games. So I find that this weapon is just, the Mythic weapons just burn way too much cash, especially if you're focusing on getting the Kui Ji weapon crate for the skin, right? You're grinding the skins, then you cannot afford to use Mythics. I mean, certainly I haven't been able to find a way. Even if you're looting the safes on the ship, you would have to stick around and do some extra looting, which puts your weapon crate at risk. So I stick with legendary rarity weapons. And at the legendary rarity, you unfortunately do not have a lag. Lag is not available in legendary rarity. Otherwise, I'd probably be running it. It's available in epic rarity, but I prefer running legendary. Now I'll show you why that is. If I compare my 47s across legendary rarity, one of the things you'll notice is that you have an extra buff here. Reloading time reduced by 10%. And if you go to Gunsmith, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different attachment slots on the legendary rarity. Whereas if I go to the epic rarity of the same weapon, I don't have any extra buffs, as you can see, no extra buffs. And then the Gunsmith gives me 4 slots for attachments. So basically, you're gonna have an advantage, right? My reload time is faster on the legendary rarity for AK-47 than it is on the epic. So definitely running a legendary is going to give you an advantage. So I prefer to do that. And it's not too crazy to repair it. It only costs, in this case, it's 600,000 for 80%. So I think it's like 150K every 20%. Let me see, repair. Yeah, roughly. So it's not too bad. It's manageable. You can keep up with that. The next thing, okay, one more point on the weapons is whether snipers or shotguns are worth it. I do think that snipers or shotguns can be very worth it, especially if you like running them. Snipers, I've gotten hit by a sniper when I was loading into the chopper, so I can definitely see that there's a place for them, and I have also gotten one tapped. But I will say that it's not meta right now, and you don't have a lot of people that are really good with shotgun or really good with sniper, and most of the battle is close quarters. And so I think it's a safer bet to go SMG or spam shotgun, like an Einhorn, for example, where you can actually shoot more than one time in case you miss, and in case you have a horde of bots in front of you. It's just a little bit more manageable to take down multiple bots with something that has an auto ability to shoot multiple times, right? Versus a single fire like an HSO or a sniper rifle. So personally, I would suggest going with the SMG. But the Fennec is my favorite because it has the fastest rate of fire. But if you struggle to control the rate of fire, you can always go with something a little bit easier like a VMP or a USS-9. Personally, I think the Fennec is just better, but you have to be able to control the recoil. So if you can't control the recoil, just run a VMP, run a USS-9, you'll be fine. Maybe, unless you run into me with a Fennec. But, yeah. So one final point on the weapons is that for people that have trouble figuring out what weapon they should equip, because what I'm recommending and what I run is what's called a specialized loadout, where your primary weapon is specialized to be long range, like the lag, like the 47, right? They're designed for damage at long range. Their rate of fire is lower, so you can't shoot as fast with those weapons. And if you're up close, if you miss a few shots, you're probably gonna die. In comparison, if you were to run something like maybe a Type 19 or an XM4, your rate of fire is going to be higher, so you have a little bit more margin for error. Basically, if you miss shots, you're not going to die, but every shot doesn't hit as hard. So if you are someone who just likes to run one main weapon and never switch weapons, and you're just not sure when to switch, you could run an easier loadout like Type 19 or XM4. It takes more skill to run a specialized loadout like a 47, right, or a Mythic lag, than it does to run something more with a faster rate of fire like Type 19 or XM4. So definitely, I think it's worth figuring out when to switch weapons and how to develop into a specialized loadout. In my opinion, is going to make you a better player and help you win more gunfights. So I would still suggest, even if you don't get it at first, to go for the 47 and the Fennec or an SMG similar to it. So that's weapons, right? Then we also have armor. Okay, so for armor, I do think it's worth taking legendary armor. I know it's a little bit expensive and it's kind of a big risk to go with a legendary armor, a legendary vest. But if you don't, you're just going to get, you're going to be at a significant disadvantage if you don't have one. So definitely take the time to level up your store. If you're just like, hey, I'm gonna grind and get this Kui Ji character real quick, I think you should reassess, because if you haven't already noticed, it's really sweaty out there. And if you don't have legendary gear unlocked, you're just going to be at a significant disadvantage. We have players running mythic gear as well. So those are far and few and in between. So I do think you can get away with just running legendary, but definitely take the time to do the missions and upgrade your shop so that you can get legendary gear. Okay. When it comes to the vests, you're going to have two main options at the legendary level. One of them is going to be this one here. They don't even name them differently, but basically one is 2 plates, which is this one, and one is 3 plates, which is that one. The difference is, you can see here the body part damage multiplier. It's going to cover, this vest here on the left side is going to cover the entire body, but only have 2 plates of coverage at the entire body. Whereas the composite vest 3 plates is going to have coverage only at the top of the body, but it's going to have 3 plates of coverage. So it's going to have more coverage on the upper body, but less coverage on the lower body, meaning actually no coverage on the lower body and the legs. So if people shoot you directly in the legs, you'll notice your health bar will take a hit. You won't get your armor taking a hit at all. It'll go straight to your health bar. And if people shoot you enough in the legs, you will die. Now, I'll say I haven't noticed people figuring this out. Most people aren't even reading these charts. So the meta to this day doesn't look like they understand yet that the vests work this way. So I have been running this 3-plate legendary vest, and I'm not getting people shooting me on the legs intentionally just yet. But if I notice a change in the meta and people start realizing that they can shoot the legs and take down a player with a really strong vest sooner, then I would switch to this one. So just play it by ear. As of recording, I still run the composite vest with 3 plates on it. Yeah. Okay, now backpack. Obviously, the military backpack, the legendary one, is the best one because it has more space, and you can take a weapon. When you kill Kui Ji, he drops an epic weapon. You can take that, sell it for 200, 250, 250k. So it's a nice loot item, but I just don't think it's worth the risk. Even if you take an extra 250 out, look at the difference. The price is double. For an extra 250, you would have to bring back. Let's see. You would have to bring back 2 roughly 2 epic weapons before you die and lose your backpack, because if you lose your backpack, you're having to pay double. So personally, I only take epic, and I find that that's plenty. I don't carry the epic weapon out from the crate, and I just loot what I can. And then bonus, when I find a player with a legendary backpack, I just take it from them and I store it in my warehouse. When I go for loot rounds, then I take my legendary backpack. Only when I do loot rounds, and I do separate my rounds. I'll only do crates and focus on the crate, speedrun it. And then when I'm doing a loot round, I focus on loot. That's a different strategy. So for your loadout, when it comes to grinding for Kui Ji, I do recommend you take an epic backpack. No need for the legendary backpack. It's too much risk. It's too expensive to lose it, and you don't even get much more from it since you're not going to be looting all the way up. You're not going to use every single slot on your backpack anyways. When it comes to ammo, I always rock 200 and 300 rounds. So I take 120, 120, and 60 of heavy, and then I take 375 of light. I just find that's plenty of ammo, and if I need more, I find it in the map. But I take enough so that I'm not having to scavenge for it. Plates, I always maximum amount of plates, because I never shoot bots. I'm just running through the map, so I'd rather just be able to plate up, not waste time with bots. They don't have any loot anyways. I always take 2 mollies and 2 smokes, especially because I run assaulter, so I don't have any smoke to drop if I need it. So I always carry 2 smokes with me and 2 mollies, because Lord knows Kui Ji be running through those mollies every now and again. He doesn't even take any damage, so you got to have a backup just in case. Special items, I do take self revive if I have it, and I take a couple radiation pills. Radiation pills, just in case I get stuck in the storm, I can pop them. They come in and out of the match with me. So I always take at least 1 or 2 radiation pills with me, just in case I get stuck in the storm. I don't have my self-revive kit equipped right now because I managed to level up my assaulter, and it gives me a free self-res. So I haven't been taking my revive. But if you run anything but assaulter and maxed out assaulter, then I do recommend taking a self-revive. Last but not least, I run a large insured slot. Not the basic one, run a large one. How do you get that? Well, you go to your missions, you do faction missions, and you go to your week 1, and you complete all of your week 1 missions. Once you finish all your week 1 missions, you hit on this gift icon right there at the top right, gift, and click here to get it. And you'll notice there's an ultra rarity insured slot if you can finish Gauntlet, but Gauntlet's actually really hard. Week 1's really easy. Everyone should do week 1 for sure. And what that'll do is it'll give you an extra slot of insured storage, meaning if you die, you can take 1 other item with you, which can be the difference of getting an extra 150, 300, 400, 500k, and that can make a big difference. So there's no risk to losing this one either. So I generally always run it. And that's about it, guys. That's my preferred loadout. I do have a Mythic loadout that I run sometimes when I go into, let's say, Building 21, or I'm doing a really intense loot round. I definitely don't want to lose what I have. And in that case, I just run the Mythic variants of what's here. So I'll take a Mythic AK-47 or the Mythic Lag. I've been preferring the Mythic Lag, to be honest with you. And then I'll take a Mythic Fennec. And you can see the Mythic difference between the Fennec. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attachments. And you have the reload time. You have a Mythic buff that is reduced by 20% versus the Legendary. Where's the Legendary? There it is. Legendary has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attachments only. And it does have a buff, weapon switch time reduced by 10%, but it's not as strong as reload time. With the Mythic Fennec, it feels like it doesn't even reload. It feels like it just hiccups, and I have a whole new round, a whole new mag ready to unload. So Mythic Fennec definitely hits harder. So if I'm going to have a really challenging round, or I'm going to do a big loot round, and I want to make sure I don't lose my loot, I mean, I'm talking about trying to pull $10 million out of a round, then I'll take all Mythic gear. But that's not to get the crate, that's to get loot out, lots of loot out. If I'm going for crate, I'm expecting to die a lot. I'm expecting to lose all of my loot, and so for that reason, the only thing I invest in is my armor. Everything else I try to keep it light, and then I take legendary weapons because they're not as tough to repair. And that's pretty much it. So if you are wondering about your loadout in terms of your class, then I will tell you that I run Assaulter, but I have also tried the other three. You can see here that I have level 30, and level 24. So I've maxed out, almost completely maxed out every class. And that's because I do think it's worth testing out to see which one you like more. And they're all useful in different situations. Scavenger is really good if you're playing solo and you need to go fast. You can run really fast with Scavenger. If you unlock the lightweight perk, you can run 15% faster. So that's a good one that I recommend if you're running solo. I ran that one at first. And then Medical. Of course, Medical is good because it drops the smoke. If you're going to go loot and do missions, you always got to take a Medical class in the team. If you don't have anyone in your team that you're going to loot with, then you take the Medical and go loot, especially if you're going to hit places like Bank, because Bank have a bunch of bots in there and you need to drop the smoke for the bots to not kill you while you're opening the vault. So if you're going to go loot round, I would say Medical. If you're going to play solo for Kui Ji, then Scavenger or Assaulter. It depends on your play style. If you want to run, if you're just not able to keep up with the players and fight them, then run Scavenger. And if you are able to fight, then go Assaulter. And that's about it, guys. Thank you for watching.